The Los Angeles Lakers have made another move, trading Dalton Connect for Mark Williams, as well as Brandon Ingram on his way to Toronto. We're going to talk about it all and more because things are just getting crazy around the NBA tonight. They're not even waiting until tomorrow. We're going to talk about all and more right after this.
Welcome to the number one place for your daily basketball news and analysis, NBA Central.
What's going on, basketball fans? Welcome to another episode of NBA Central, your number one spot for everything basketball related. I was coming here to originally talk about the Brandon Ingram trade, but as I was setting up this live, another trade went down. The Los Angeles Lakers are trading Dalton Connect, Cam Reddish, and a 2031 first-round pick and a 2030 pick swap to the Charlotte Hornets for center Mark Williams. Now, this is important because, the Los Angeles Lakers did not make a move for a defensive center while they had Anthony Davis, right, which is what Anthony Davis and LeBron had asked for. They trade for Luka Doncic, right? Many people think that the Lakers are done after making that trade, but no, the Los Angeles Lakers continue to shore up their defense by going out and getting Mark Williams and trading Dalton Connect, their young player who had shown some growth and development, for Mark Williams. Now, Mark Williams, while he brings a lot of the defensive needs that the Los Angeles Lakers need, or looking for, I should say, he has not been a player that's been very healthy over the course of his career. So in a lot of ways, the Los Angeles Lakers have traded one injury-prone center for another and eventually get another injury-prone center and a very, very talented point guard in Luka Doncic that is apparently suffering from some issues with his conditioning. But when Mark Williams is healthy, he's a monster. 16 points, 10 rebounds on 59% shooting so far on the season. He also chips in a block and a half per game. So he brings all of that the Lakers could possibly want as far as a defensive center. Just some questions around his health. He's only played in 22 games so far this season, has Mark Williams. Now, Dalton Connect hasn't rounded out or looked like any type of world beater as a rookie or anything like that. But this does, I think, really show that the Charlotte Hornets are just taking young players and talent at this point, which giving up Mark Williams is crazy to me. But they get Dalton Connect back, who's 6'6", 215. He's averaging 9 points per game, shooting the ball 46% from the field so far this season and 35% from three. But defensively, he leaves a lot to be desired. But maybe they're looking at something there. So now the Charlotte Hornets have Bridges, Brandon Phillips, and Dalton Connect. Someone got to give there, right? Someone got to give there in regards to it eventually. But the fact that you got a prime Luka Doncic, you got now Mark Williams, who's an extremely young player there. It looks like the Lakers are already starting to gear up for what the future may be when they have to build around Luka Doncic, is what that looks like, at least in my opinion. So, and getting Dalton Connect back and a first-round pick swap as well in the deal is really good value for the Charlotte Hornets as well, I think. But that's crazy. This NBA trade deadline is getting crazier and crazier as the days go by. I don't even know if I can go to sleep tonight because I may have to be live and available at any point in time because the deals just aren't stopping. These deals aren't stopping. And shout out to the Lakers for being aggressive about going out there and getting a young center that they can now pair with Luka. He's 23 years old. Is Mark Williams. He just turned 23 a couple of months ago in December. So you got another young guy here that, has some injury concerns, but if you feel comfortable that he's going to be able to stay healthy, Mark Williams can still be a hell of a center in this league. His switchability, his ability to rim protect, those type of things can go really good for Mark Williams over the course of his career. So I'm not necessarily mad at it, but there's still some questions when it comes down to it, right? Is Mark Williams really all that? If he's that good, why trade him? Well, that's a silly question. And no offense to you, Frank, but good players get traded all the time. Was Luka not good because he got traded? Right? I think this more so, he hasn't stayed healthy. There are some flaws there, but Mark Williams is a really good player who's really young and still has a lot left to uncover in his game. So again, I'm not saying that he's one of the best centers in the world or anything like that, but when you look at as a role player that doesn't need a lot of offense called for him, but is still productive offensively, I think Mark Williams is doing pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. I guess this helps Vucevic's value. I don't know if it helps because, Mark Williams is a lot younger than Nikola Vucevic, but I see where you're getting from it with that. I really thought the Lakers wouldn't get him because the upside is so young for him in Charlotte. But wow, yeah. I mean, very young player there with tremendous upside, and we'll see. Now, the original deal that I was coming to talk to you guys about was Brandon Ingram being traded to the Toronto Raptors in exchange for Bruce Brown, Kelly Olynyk, and a first round pick and 1 second rounder as well. This is a crazy trade for the Toronto Raptors because they just traded Pascal Siakam last year at the trade deadline. You now trade for Brandon Ingram. You were trying to get away from these similar, all kind of hybrid forwards that all kind of did the same thing. It is what it is, and you give up a first round pick for it when Brandon Ingram could very well, leave your team. Maybe they're going to announce an extension here in a couple of minutes or something like that. But I have some questions on what Toronto's goal is here with bringing Brandon Ingram to their team, mainly because you try to move away from having a lot of players that were like Brandon Ingram. Now, maybe you feel confident in your starting lineup of Quickly, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl, but I kind of more so expected the Toronto Raptors to try to move some pieces and gain picks rather than try to go all in right now. And not to say that this is a go all in move. That's not a fair statement because he becomes an unrestricted free agent, but they find themselves right now 5.5 games behind of the 10th seed. So I don't know what this move really does for the Toronto Raptors. I don't know what their goals are with this deal either, but I guess we'll see. Frank says, I don't watch much Charlotte, but like why trade Mark when they also have LaMelo? That's a great question, and that I have no idea, brother. I have no idea. You would think that you would want to keep Mark. Now, here's the thing, though, right? Charlotte is going to be in the lottery this year, so maybe they have their eyes set on the big in the draft. That's the only kind of rationale that I can give you on that one. Maybe they have their mind set on a big man in this draft, so they felt comfortable making this move, getting Dalton Connect in here, and they plan on maybe drafting a big. Maybe. That's the only thing that I can go towards to try to rationalize it, and that may not even be the case, right? I don't get the Ingram trade either. I say veteran presence, but it makes no sense. If they are rushing the rebuild, that's a red flag. Exactly. A rebuild that they just started last year at the trade deadline. They just started a rebuild to build around Scotty Barnes at the trade deadline last year, right? It's confusing. Seems like Charlotte didn't believe Mark. Yeah, I mean, listen, and that's fair. And having some questions on if Mark Williams is going to be able to stay healthy because he hasn't really been able to yet in his career. So that's definitely something that they could be looking at for sure. Charlotte will probably have a top 6 pick. Who will they take? That's a great question, right? Yeah, especially if it's a big. I mean, the only big that I can think going that high is Asa Newell, who maybe you can use as a small ball center. He's 6'10", 220. That's really the only guy that I maybe can see right now going in the top 10, unless they're going to – I mean, Kaman Malowick is going to go higher than what the mocks have him going. So maybe it's somebody like that they're targeting, maybe, right? But this is a draft that's very guard and wing heavy. So we'll see. At this point, roll the dice who wins the lottery this year. That's a fact. That's 100% fact there, brother. Explain to me what was the purpose of the Toronto Raptors trading for Brandon Ingram when they can't even win consistent games. I have no idea. I'm not surprised that Brandon Ingram was traded, but I am surprised that he was traded to the Toronto Raptors. Like, that's just not a team that I thought, again, mainly because of them moving off of similar type players last year, that they would turn around and make a move like this. But, I mean, clearly they did. Clearly this is something that they felt was going to help their team, and they decided to make that move. So we'll see what happens there. But overall, 2 trades have gone down, and I'm sure more to come before the end of the night. It seems like this ain't stopping anytime soon. We could be in for a very long night. But the fact that the Lakers traded Dalton Connect, a player they just drafted with the 17th overall pick, hey, that's interesting. It's very, very interesting on what they're going to do here, man. But you guys stay tuned in with us, man. We're going to have, as you can see, news drops, we drop. Make sure you guys are following us at NBA Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns, NBA Central Show at gmail.com. And then lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. Make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. Trying to get to 3,000 subscribers here by the All-Star break. If we can do that, we're about 470 away from that goal. You guys can tell we've been dropping content like crazy. If you want up to the breaking news on anything going on in the NBA and in the world of basketball, NBA Central is your spot. Love